I think somehow like being Jewish has become controversial, like yet again.
It's a texture that I didn't get.
It took a while for the Jewish people working in that industry to eventually write a Jewish music, like a musical about Jews. You know, the whole inside of the temple was destroyed and smashed. There was only enough oil for one night. It's a miracle. The oil lasted for 8 nights. So these are better than the version you made.
I'm Ramo. This is our cooking show that we're calling Find Your Taste. And Michelle Gliszinski is here, and she's going to help us make potato latkes. And I touched base with Michelle because we are doing Fiddler on the Roof next month. And one of the things Brittany and I were concerned about is not a minority in our group that there's like 2. We always joke there's like 3 of us who are Latinos if we did West Side Story. So we wanted to make sure we weren't just doing a caricature. And Brittany was concerned about that. And I said, well, let me reach out. And I looked up your number.
Yeah, we got connected.
And that's how it started. And we want to keep the ball rolling and learning more about it and eating fried potato things. So.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with fried potatoes. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. My name is Michelle Gliszinski. I'm the past president of one of the 2 synagogues in Fort Collins called Har Shalom Center for Jewish Living. I also teach religious school on Sundays, and I'm excited to be here because I think it brings together 3 of my favorite things, which is being Jewish and talking about being Jewish, Broadway musicals, and food. And so I'm excited to teach everyone about how to make potato latkes. So that's sort of a little bit about my background. I'm definitely not a religious expert. So anything that I say tonight, maybe Google afterwards, because, you know, who knows? But I've got the basics down. Another food we traditionally eat are donuts. We could have, but that, I think we're really testing the limits of my cooking ability.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we're making latkes at your house.
Yes.
Because it definitely, the smell of oil permeates the house. You know, there's different ways you can make sweet potato latkes. I've seen recipes where people add like shredded pickle, olives, probably a stereotypical like Ashkenazi Jewish food, just because, you know, you potatoes and onions, I associate that with Eastern Europe. I'm not sure what Jews from the Middle East would eat if there is like a potato latke equivalent. That's something we should Google and see. I'm not sure. A brief summary of the story of Hanukkah. 200 years before Jesus was born, the land that we now call Israel was occupied by the Syrian Greeks. And they wanted all of the Jews there to basically stop being Jewish and to be more Greek. The Jews revolted against them. They were kind of like a ragtag group of fighters. The Syrian Greek army was one of the strongest in the world. A man named Judah Maccabee led the revolt, and they were successful, and they pushed the Syrian Greeks out. When they went to their temple, it sort of lay in ruins. Back then, they would have a menorah, like a candelabra that they would light with oil. And the oil was desecrated. You know, the whole inside of the temple was just like destroyed and smashed. And they wanted to light the menorah, but there was only enough oil for one night. The miracle that occurred is that the oil lasted for 8 nights before they could get new oil. So to represent the oil, we fry foods in oil to represent that miracle. So that's sort of how potato latkes and the story of Hanukkah come together.
So it's the oil part, this is the traditional part, not the potatoes or the onions. What do we need to do first?
So the first thing we need to do is shred our potatoes. And I see you have an amazing grater shredder here. So
we can do it. I'll be your prep cook here.
Okay,
Let's move this into left-handed.
Oh, are you left-handed?
I am.
Okay. So should I switch?
No, you're good. Just move this over.
Shred some potatoes.
There we go. How many potatoes do you?
About a pound, which I don't know. You like throw a couple more in there. Okay, that looks good.
All right.
So if you're an Ashkenazi Jew, that just means that your ancestors came from Eastern Europe. So the vast majority of Jews that live here in America, that's where their ancestors came from. So it's kind of the type of Judaism that people are most familiar with here in America. It's all one religion, just sort of the customs are going to be different because your ancestors grew up in a different part of the world. So the other two types are Mizrahi Jews, which means their ancestors came from the Middle East. There was a very vibrant Jewish community that lived in Iraq, for example. Most of those Jews now live in Israel. And then the other group of Jews are called Sephardic Jews, and their ancestors came from Spain. We know the poem in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So not only did that happen, where Christopher Columbus came from Spain to America, in that year in 1492, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella expelled all the Jews that lived in Spain. They were either forced to live or they had to leave. So that group of Jews left and settled in parts of North Africa and also parts of the Middle East. So they have their own customs, their own language. So there's a language called Ladino, which is a mixture of Hebrew and Spanish.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so it's sort of like Ashkenazi Jews, a lot of them spoke Yiddish, which is like a German-based language. It's mostly German, but it's written in Hebrew. A lot of Yiddish words have become part of American culture.
Yiddish words are the best.
They are the best words.
My mom was very proud of the Yiddish words that her friends had taught her growing up. And so we learned a lot of the really cool ones growing up.
Yeah, like, klutz is a Yiddish word. Schmuck, which is a wonderful word, can be used in all different kinds of scenarios.
Smear.
Yeah, smear on a bagel, nosh. Yeah, Ashkenazi Jews, I think, have had like a big impact on American culture.
I didn't realize how many people felt so strongly about it. Almost everyone I've mentioned it to,
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting a lot of the kids, even like our performers, I expect them to go, like I was saying, we're doing 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, or we're doing Meet Me in St. Louis, some
Right.
cheesy musicals. Everyone knows Fiddler. Everyone just loves it. And we've got so many people just dying to audition for Tevye.
Yes.
It's exciting.
I personally have 2 people that are auditioning for Tevye. Yes.
I mean, I think it's even more cultural now because of what's still going on in that area.
Right.
More important, I said cultural, because we're still expunging people from their cultural areas.
I think somehow like being Jewish has become controversial, like yet again, unfortunately, the last couple of years, especially. I'm just really appreciative that your theater company is willing to put on the production. Judaism, being Jewish, has become this controversial issue, which it shouldn't be, especially here in the United States.
It's almost a political issue.
Yeah, which it's not. This musical has been put on for decades. Like, I think it's just the top climate we live in. Everyone's become kind of like hypersensitive.
Right. That speaks to the fact that we were nervous about doing it.
You called me, which I thought it was really nice that you called, but it's like, yeah, of course you can put on a production of this on the roof. Like, all the Jews I know will come and support you.
Yay.
Like, we're so excited. Judaism has persevered for thousands of years. And part of how it's lasted so long is that we've adapted to what's happening in the modern world at that time. In Fiddler on the Roof, you kind of see that tension between wanting to keep things always the same, but then also it's like the world was changing and they had to change with it.
Decide whether they would or not.
Yes. Yeah. Any Jewish person who's still here is like living proof of, that sort of that continuity, like being able to kind of adapt with the times, but, still holding on. The fact that I'm making like latkes today, it's like my father did, his mother did, going back for decades. It's pretty amazing to me. You'll definitely have a lot of us in the audience. The musical ends with them leaving, right? Like they're forced out.
Yep, they're forced out again.
Yes.
I think it's Sam's that just kind of walk off.
That's it.
Yeah, they just leave.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's so heartwarming and uplifting.
Right.
There's the one guy who goes to Kyiv.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he gets arrested, and the daughter who's in love with him
follows him. How appealing it looks right now.
Follows him.
It's not really good too.
She goes to be with him in a labor camp or something.
Okay.
I'd forgotten about that bit, and then I was listening to the show. I thought, oh my God, could literally be happening now.
Right.
The same thing.
Definitely, you think history, like the trajectory of history, we're always moving forward, like in a better way. But what I've learned as I've gotten older, we just kind of like recycle the same themes over. We sort of just kind of go back.
Recycling the same 100 years over and over again.
Over and over again. So, you always think it's like progress moving forward, but a lot of times we just end up back where we started. And I think especially for the Jewish people, that's like a recurrent theme of our history is, living somewhere, feeling comfortable being there, sort of eking out an existence, and then, getting kicked out and having to start over somewhere else. It's a very transportable religion. Like,
yeah,
we are very adaptable.
But that's out of necessity.
Absolutely. Lately, there's been sort of a resurgence of Jews in Russia. That's what I've learned. For a long time, they had to be like undercover about their religion. Basically, I think they have a little more freedom there now.
That's so scary to me because I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and it's church every Sunday, and the thought about legally being like restricted from doing something like that. I'm not that I was a true believer or anything, but not being allowed to do that and being forced to like keep your culture hidden and keep all these things hidden is just so strange to me.
Yeah, I think
and so frightening.
We're really, I'm really grateful to live in the United States. We have a lot. You can see the liquid there.
Yeah, I was just thinking we can drain it off.
Yeah, it keeps coming. It never.
I'm still listening. I'm still listening.
That's one of the founding principles of our country is freedom of religion. And Jews have always been a part of that story, and Jews have been free to practice their religion here, which is why we've been so successful and have been able to contribute a lot to American society, American culture.
One of the other things, like, well, we don't want to make it us making a caricature of someone else's religion. And one of the thoughts was, can you remove that from the show?
With
and you
the
really
religious
can't.
aspects of it?
Like some shows you can redo and like put it in a different setting or put it in a, Tevye works for an IT company in, Simi Valley or something. But you can't.
No.
Because it's integral to the show. And that's the way it was written.
Right.
So what are the parts of it that resonate with you?
Number one, I think it's a universal story. So like I've seen, like people in Japan do like Japanese productions of Fiddler on the Roof with, Japanese people doing the performance. It's about family. It's about tradition. It's about, culture clashes and his daughters wanting to do different things. That like the universal experience of that.
Right.
It doesn't, yes, it's about a Jewish town, but I think people can relate to all the different aspects of it. And then like the music's amazing. So it doesn't matter. Like all the songs, everything's great.
It is a universal story. It's just told through that lens. Like that's the flavor of the whole show.
For sure.
In that's the sauce in which it is steeped, I guess. It's the way of thinking about it.
What's interesting to me is that there were a lot of like Broadway was basically started by Jews. A lot of musicals were written by Jews, and it took a while for the Jewish people working in that industry to eventually write a Jewish music, like a musical about Jews. The history of that aspect of it is interesting to me. Jews were just an integral part of Broadway, but it took them a while to feel comfortable enough to write about their own family's experiences.
Right. And then I think I remember reading when they put it out there, they were kind of worried.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to do anything?
Right.
Is it going to get protested or shut down or something? It seems to have endured. As an adult, there are songs on the soundtrack I have to skip. Because it's like sunrise, sunset. Like we'll skip that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to listen to that in all the rehearsals. I'm tearing up just thinking about it because it's so emotional. And being a parent and how he talks about being a parent, the job is to take the people who were most important to your life and make them not need you anymore or something like that.
Sure.
And that's what he's going through. And he's going through, this is how life is. And this is how we've gotten through all this stuff. Yeah. Because we cling so tightly to this. And that every kid steps like a little bit further away.
Yeah.
And it just kills.
Okay. So what we need to do now, we're going to wring out all of the liquid that's in here, because that's sort of the key part to making latkes, is that if it's too saturated with liquid, they're just not going to taste good. They're not going to fry up well. So that's a smart idea. See, look at that. You're great. Okay.
Okay. So this is going.
We do like half and half, because that seems like a lot. I'm going to get my rage out.
All right. Yeah.
When we go to actually fry them, when we sort of make the patty in our hands, we're going to squeeze them out again to get as much liquid.
I think that's the problem I've had. I'm just lazy and I don't want to.
Yeah, this is a pretty
do that part.
Key part of the step. I might have you do the next round because I don't know how strong I am. So I'm going to put these like kind of dry ones in here.
Okay.
Do that again.
We're just gonna break. We have the other recipe I was thinking of is when I was, I don't know, 13 or 14, my mom was in a production of Fiddler.
Okay.
And very long story short, there were some brownies that came out of that, and we call them Anatevka brownies.
Okay.
And that's been like the brownie recipe in my family for 40 years.
Wow. Okay.
And I
Good deal.
still have the recipe.
Brownies and Fiddler on the roof. So when you put on the performance, are you going to do the bottle dance?
Interestingly enough,
Yeah.
I didn't know this until I started looking into it. I thought the bottle dance was some like traditional
Okay.
thing. It's not.
It's not.
Jerome Robbins, choreographer of the original production, created that. And as far as I understand it, look at me hedging my bets now. I said it was absolute before. When you buy the rights to do the show, part of the agreement is that you have to do that
You
scene.
have to. Are you serious?
Yep.
Okay. It has to be done.
And I don't know of any other shows that do that. I'm sure there are, but they say you can do Fiddler. You know, we pay for the rights and get the whatever. You can't record it. You can't sell the album, and you must do the bottle dance. So yes. I mean, do we need to squeeze these again? Because we're going to get talking about this.
It needs like just enough egg to kind of like fold itself together. Let's put a little egg in there, and then
it's an egglet. The show is, and why it succeeded, is because it's much more culturally Jewish than religious Jewish. And even the religious part, and I think they probably, this wiped eggwood on my forehead. I think they downplayed that by having all the jokes with Tevye where he says, as the good book says,
right,
and he's just spouting
whatever he's spouting.
And because he really doesn't know, it's how he feels.
I'm gonna just grab it with my hands, and I'm gonna squeeze it out. Probably should squeeze it out over a different bowl instead of putting
Need another bowl?
Yeah, let's do another bowl.
Another bowl.
Yes. So I'm gonna delicately lay that one in there, and they don't really have to look pretty. Okay.
Smell good though. When we were talking about doing this, Victoria said, make sure she knows we don't have a kosher kitchen. I said,
That's okay.
I don't think she expects that.
Yeah. So I do not keep kosher. A lot of work. I think most Jews do not. I think 4 is okay. 1 for each of us. We'll let them cook a few minutes on the side. I'm just gonna I'm gonna turn it down a little bit.
I like the Hanukkah oil connection with this.
Yeah.
The reason you fried. I didn't.
Yes. Now you know that it has to do with the miracle of the oil.
You'll be the first person ever to use that.
All right, I'm gonna keep it this way.
It's a novelty sandwich flipper we got.
So now we're talking about Passover, which is yet another Jewish holiday. We have a lot of holidays. A Seder is like a ritualized meal that we have for Passover. A long meal, we tell the story of how we were freed from slavery in Egypt. And so it's can be up to like 2 or 3 hours. And you're not like eating that whole time. You're just telling the story and using different foods to kind of illustrate different parts.
And it's kind of a ritualized script.
Yes, there's a script. It's called a Haggadah.
And the youngest has to answer the questions. I remember that part.
Yes. Wow. So how do you know about that? That's pretty niche content there.
That I
Ramon.
don't know.
So Easter, in my understanding, Christmas always happens on December 25th. Easter floats around. It's not always on the same date. And so it's Easter and Passover are always within the same week, is my understanding. And, that famous painting of the Last Supper, like that's Jesus. He is celebrating Passover in that painting. Passover and Easter are connected. They're always around the same time of year. Hanukkah and Christmas are near each other, but Hanukkah's always in the wintertime. But the date changes. So like there was one year, it was Thanksgiving and Hanukkah overlapped. That was in recent memory. And it's been as late as New Year's Eve. So we're actually celebrating 2 Hanukkahs in the year 2025 because last year's Hanukkah ended, I think, on January 1st. And then we're doing this year's Hanukkah now. So it's an
that's
exciting
really
year because we have
interesting.
2 Hanukkahs in 1 year.
While Hanukkah wasn't one of the major holidays, its
Correct.
proximity to Christmas
So
kind of built it up. So
absolutely.
what are the bigger ones that we probably don't know about?
So Passover is a big one that we mentioned. And then there's the high holy days, which are Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which usually happen in September. Those are the Jewish New Year, and then our Day of Atonement, where you apologize for anyone you may have harmed.
And that's Rosh Hashanah.
So Rosh Hashanah is the New Year,
Yom
the
Kippur
Jewish
is-
New Year. And then I think 10 days later is Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. And in those days, there's sort of this idea that you'll be sealed in the book of life for the year that's coming up. That also has lots of like ritual symbolic foods that we eat. Hanukkah, I mean, I kind of joke, it's like a 3rd tier holiday in Judaism. Like you can sort of the way you know a holiday is important or not is whether or not you're allowed to do work on that holiday. Okay. So
Right.
Hanukkah, you can do work. It's totally fine. But for Passover, for example, the first 2 days and the last 2 days, you're not supposed to do work.
Right.
And then every week we have a holiday in Judaism called Shabbat, which is definitely in Fiddler on the Roof. That's when he blesses his children.
The blessing, yeah.
It's like maybe like
Yes,
others-
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, wait,
Hang
hold
on.
on. I think we should take these out. They look like squiggly, like spaghetti balls. But
Yeah.
okay. And then I think the next key thing we need to do is salt these babies up. I'm going to go ahead and salt these.
Oh, so you salt them after?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So before, during, after. This is the big debate of whether you eat your latke with applesauce or with sour cream. So my kids like it with applesauce. I prefer sour cream. Maybe, I mean, are we going to double dip here? Or should we use spoons? Like, I don't
dip.
feel like you guys are my family now.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Let's deal with that. Okay.
There's
That's the only reason.
there's no double dipping amongst family.
Okay.
Is it sacrilege that I usually put hot sauce on mine?
No, you can some people put caviar on their latkes. So yeah.
Gracie puts ketchup on them.
You can put whatever you want on that. All right.
So we can try. Which answer? No, you're tech. You don't get any of
The
this.
tech crew, but I have to. I love these. Here.
Oh my god, of course.
Those are good.
It's a texture that I didn't get.
Okay, so these are better than the version you made. All right. Well, I'm proud of myself.
Mine were still like
This is-
undercooked on the inside and greasy on the outside.
That's where like the oil temperature matters, and then I really think bringing out all that liquid is for sure the key.
Oh, it's good.
I'm glad you like them.
Let's see it.
But
Just say l'chaim.
l'chaim, life to life, l'chaim.
What do we think? Good. Yeah,
I mean, there's really
it's good.
Like simple but good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could eat like 20 of these
so can
easily. Okay, let me try it with that.
can you like put that in the fridge and do more tomorrow, or is this all like a today thing?
I would probably eat the rest. I think we should make the rest, and then
Oh, we're gonna eat these tonight. I was
Oh.
talking in
Okay.
general.
I mean, I don't know about keeping this in the fridge. So back to Hanukkah. Hanukkah is 8 nights long. So if you call the synagogue, you can get information about when and when those events are. It's called Har Shalom Center for Jewish Living. We have about 250 households that are part of our community, and we serve basically all of northern Colorado. We have people coming from Greeley, Cheyenne, Loveland. Most of our congregants live in Fort Collins. We have a thriving religious school. So if you have a child who wants to learn more about Judaism, they're welcome to start at any time. My children started in preschool, but we have kids who join us in 6th and 7th grade because they want to learn more about their culture. We teach kids Hebrew, the prayers, all about what it's like being Jewish. We celebrate all the holidays there. It's a very warm, welcoming place.
When you mentioned culturally, that's one thing that's always stuck in my head, that
Just
a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm Jewish, but I'm culturally Jewish, not religious Jewish or more religious.
Like,
There's no other religions. Like no one says I'm culturally Christian, but not.
right. So it's an ethno-religion.
Right.
I took Ancestry or 23andMe and it came back 50% Ashkenazi Jews. So my father was born Jewish. My mother converted to Judaism. So it's crazy to me.
It's matrilineal though, right?
It is matrilineal depending on what sort of denomination of Judaism you practice. So the more observant religious Jews, it's matrilineal.
Okay.
But if for less observant Jews, patrilineal Judaism is just as valid as matrilineal Judaism. Does that make sense? So like the Jewish law, it goes through the mother.
Mm-hmm.
But in modern times, we have a lot of patrilineal Jews at the synagogue, and they're just as Jewish as
Right.
everyone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In different denominations of Judaism, patrilineal Jews are just as valid as matrilineal Jews.
So my understanding was like if your mom's Jewish,
You're Jewish.
you're Jewish, no matter what you want to do. But if your
Right.
dad is Jewish, you can choose or not. Is that what you're talking about the patrilineal, or are you talking about more?
Like it's kind of like who's considered Jewish.
Okay.
Like if you wanted to be considered Jewish by more like Orthodox Judaism, and it was just your father was Jewish, you'd have to go through a conversion process.
Right.
I don't think it's as long as someone who's not Jewish converting, but even that process is long. Like if you want to convert to Judaism, it takes at least a year, sometimes longer. Like we're like, are you sure you want to do that?
Right.
So
This isn't like switching football teams or something.
right. It's a commitment because you become part of a peoplehood. It's a tribe. You become part of our tribe. And so it's like, are you willing to be a part of like not only all the good, but all the bad that comes with that? It's a process. But
I assume it's like some of the other traditions where it doesn't matter where you come from. Once you're in, you're as much in as anybody
absolutely,
else.
like that's a big part of the conversion process. Is once you become a Jew, like it's as if you were a Jew the whole time. In fact, the story is that it was as if you were on Mount Sinai back in the day when they received the 10 Commandments.
So there's a lot of Native American traditions that had the same sort of thing. Once they would adopt somebody in.
Yeah, it's like you were always
matter,
there.
Doesn't matter you came from Ireland. You are now always and have as much say and everything else. Michelle, thanks for coming in. And this was our inaugural cooking episode. I don't think it could have been any tastier.
It was really good.
And thanks for sharing everything. And I look forward to having you and everyone from your congregation come and join us for Fiddler. And if you are interested, we have Fiddler on the Roof coming up. Come and see the show. And we want it to be a community. So we're opening it up to the entire community of Loveland, and come be a part of this show about traditions and about the community. If you like the video, make sure you share and click the like button and
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and join us. You're going to take my job. Anything else we need before I burn my taters?